again. Got the Krispy Kreme. Actually, I did wish I had Krispy Kreme. Alrighty. Also, I apologize for the whirring noise, but I have to have the AC on because it's starting to get hot. And the AC has to be right next to... Yeah. It has to be right next to my computer. So it makes noise. Let's down a little bit more. Ooh, quite a bit. Okay. I probably should do special lines too. Yep, it's early on the East Coast, or the West Coast. West Coast. It's the coast. Apparently this is how Rosse sleeps. Pile of robes, lit a flame. I don't make the rules. Well, I do, but... The rules make me! No! Yes, thank you for coming! That's the fun part, which is... doing lines. I'm like, yay! Let's blaze through that. I just put this on the wrong thing. Of course I did. I'll switch these around. Fine. Okay. So we need to make sure these are labeled. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming. Good morning. Again, I apologize for the air conditioner noise, but I need it. I need it. It is a necessary thing. We have big guys. Yeah. They're snoozing and snooze. Snoozy. I mean, I can end up doing it in the because I usually have I do have a channel that was just for updates, like, hey, I updated the comic. So I could do one that's just for that. Like, I could use that one again, or I could do one that's like a live channel, so that people can do that. So that's certainly possible. I ended up making a big thing of her antlers because they're a pain to draw. But yeah, if people want, I can make a separate channel just for live stream announcements. I'm streaming more often than I used to. Although, we'll see if we can keep that up. Because I think going into this next contract, I'm going to be busier than I was the last one. But that'll just be for a few months. Then hopefully after that, we'll get back to something a little bit easier. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming. It's alright. Just come by for a little bit. Well, I do that. That's what my Livestream crew ping is for. So basically, if you're on the Livestream crew ping, then you'll get that notification. So I do have that. I think there was a role specifically for updates and a role specifically for like live streams. I still need to make like a bot or something for Twitch so that I can like link to my Discord and stuff like that. But I keep forgetting. Oh, what do you want? You're just yelling at me. You've used your phone a bunch. Yeah, I know. It's a phone. That's what it's there for. Though people want me to make it like a separate channel just for live stuff, I can do that, but I guess I need to ask. But I think that's especially true of people who like stream a ton. Like that's their daily do. That's their job. Yeah, I do need to make a little bot for Twitch to be like, here's all the info, here's my socials, here's the Discord, and all that stuff. But since apparently Discord's getting rid of a permanent links to it, which is not great. I'm not very fond of that. There's Sneepies. Oh, it's kind of tough doing Chris and this stuff because they're like so small in scale in comparison to everybody else. They're so teeny beeny. Teeny baby. Special ones. I love this brush. The only problem is after it gets to like less than 6 pixels, it starts to kind of lose its edge. It doesn't work quite as well. I have to draw very big. Which I do anyway, just out of habit. I really should save frequently because goodness knows we've had those problems with BSODs, knock on wood. I gotta do that more often. Hello, hello, thank you for coming. Doing an early stream today because this afternoon I have to go to a friend's place and take care of their cat very briefly. Gotta give him some food, or give her some food, and give her some attention and playtime, some kitty treats, all that goodness. So I'm doing that this afternoon. I'm like, okay, I'll stream in the morning and do my chores and take care of the cat in the afternoon. Yeah, it is a nice morning out. I hope the weather is good next weekend because I want to go to the Canada Day Street Fest and get some food truck stuff and see the fireworks. Because it'll be my first Canada Day as a Canadian. I'm a real Canadian now, so I can super celebrate Canada Day. I still need to get my passport, but yeah, we have a Canada Day. Naturally. It's basically like the 4th, but for Canada. Like, a lot of the same stuff in that, you know, you have barbecue food and fireworks and everybody dresses all patriotically. So, yeah, it's super nice. Basically, there's like a street fest that's going on like literally outside my apartment, just like, because I'm really close to a very big park. So there's lots of space to like do a bunch of festival stuff. Yeah, it's like a 3-day difference from the 4th. It's on the 1st. But like there's a huge park like pretty much right next door to me. So good place to do stuff. So they're doing a big street fest with, you know, some live performances. I think they do like music. Last year they had lion dancers, and a bunch of food trucks, and then let's get ourselves a picnic blanket and watch fireworks. And it'll be cool. We went to it last year and had a pretty good time. I'm like, oh, it's like right next door. And so like if ever I get to a point where I'm like, this is overwhelming, it's too much, then like I can just walk back to my apartment. It's like right there. So it's very convenient. Hi, Thank you, thank you. But yeah, I'm hoping the weather's good. Because the weather here has been a little wonky. It'll get super hot, then it'll get super not hot. And right now it's warming up though. So far it looks like it's going to be a nice day. So that'll be good. I might still wear a mask because even though it's outdoors, it's a lot of people. And I don't want to be too risky. Yeah, at least it's not like horribly hot so far. I'm worried we're gonna get to the forest fire stage soon enough. So I'm like, please, just so you know, it can be warm, but not horrible. That's my preference. Why did I make Noelle's antlers so complicated? There's so much. Yeah, it's been kind of weird in California, hasn't it? It's been like a little cooler than usual. A little bit funky. Oh wait, I need to make this bigger so I can see yeah, not like that. I need to be able to see when my break starts. There we go. But yeah, it's good stuff. Hello, thank you for coming. Yeah, 2 years ago, when did we have that horrible heat wave? I feel like it was July. Maybe it was June. Thank you. Yeah, this one is a little bit of a cuter one. We're as cute as this series is. And then once I finish this comic, I'll probably do a poll on which one to do next, because I have a couple ideas that I could go with, although one of them I already have a script for. Yeah, I'll do a poll on, at least on Tumblr, maybe on Twitter. But at least Tumblr has more options. You can only do 4 options on Twitter. You have the biggest pillows. You know, it would be nicer if Eldritch Susie washed her hair. But alas, Eldritch monsters don't care about the hygiene. Because they're Eldritch monsters, I don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry. You still got a freckle. Okay. They snooze. But yeah, I'm discovering, oh, the scale of this is kind of difficult with how much smaller Chris is compared to everybody else. Also, sleeping in armor, bleh. You know, if you enjoy colder weather, Canada's the place to be. Though honestly, like, what I'm discovering is, like, there's just actually seasonal variety here. Like, California is nice, but it's very warm pretty much the entire year. Like, even during the winter, it's not that cold. Whereas here, like, it's hot summer and cold winter. You get both. I at least appreciate that it feels like actual seasons are changing. I don't think that's the coldest you can go. I'm sure there's colder places. Also, the thing with Canada is, like, I think something like 90% of Canadians live within 100 miles of the US border. So most people are not living up where it gets, like, super cold. major cities are not probably in super cold areas. Unless you deliberately like, okay, I'm gonna go to a super cold area and remote area and live there. In which case you're probably doing some kind of work specific to that area. Yeah, I think it's just most people live close to the border. You eventually get to a point where it's like, that's just more convenient. And humans can live in extreme temperatures, just it's less convenient, so you gotta spend more time making it work for you, I think. Yeah, literally I could drive to the US border in like 45 minutes. It's not very far. I know, because I used to do that all the time when I had to get new work permits all the time. You had to get a new work permit every time you got a new contract. Nice, nice. I've never seen Magic Knight Ray Earth, but I might have been able to because I had a friend who had just tons and tons. It's like a college friend. We're still friends, but when we were in college together, they just had tons and tons and tons of anime on DVD. You know, how big collections, and I'm pretty sure Magic Knight Ray Earth was one of those included. Yeah, that's the thing, is like if you're living like way up in Canada, then like you're just are not gonna have a lot of the modern things people would probably be used to. I like having the modern things. I like having nice restaurants nearby and electricities and convenience. Like, I like nature, but I'm not a nature person, and that I probably would need a lot more practice to live off it. Like, I can't live off the land. I can't do it. I appreciate it. I really like the fact that there's parks nearby, but I'm not a hardy nature person. Ray Earth is a good classic anime. I'm trying to think of what would have been my favorite anime. We watched a lot of good stuff when I was in college. We watched a ton of stuff when I was in college. We just plowed through a bunch of anime when I was in college. Some stuff fun, some stuff kind of more obscure. You know, we do big ones like, you know, Inuyasha and stuff like that. I remember one we watched a bunch was Escaflowne. I actually bought, like, when I was overseas once, I bought this big Escaflowne toy that, you know, it was, what was the name of the mech? The big dragon mech. And it could transform from its dragon form to, like, its regular form. I think I got rid of that, though. Yeah, Escaflowne was really fun. I definitely wonder how it would be received nowadays, considering one of the villains or antagonists in the series. Although the primary antagonist is really funny. Well, not funny, but it's kind of like, how did they do that for the primary antagonist? Oh, I can't find high quality online? That sucks. Man, I would have to talk to my college friend, because she had it on DVD. We had nice big box sets of Escaflowne. Yeah, Delandu. I wonder how Delandu would be received nowadays. It's back there. It's because it's a very different stuff. Also, one me and my friends were super into was Silent Mobius. We're gonna write a whole big fan fiction around it, and I was super into it, but we never finished the fan fiction. It was mostly a lot of college kids talking about it kind of fan fiction. But it was a big deal to us. Invented a ton of OCs that I think kind of ended up finding purchase in other places. But we put way more thought into world building than the actual creators did for Silent Mobius. Yeah, Sorcerer Hunter would probably be another one like that. Escaflowne had really good music. I think I still have a lot of the soundtracks from it. Yeah, a lot of that old school anime. Here's an obscure one that we really liked that nobody really talks about. Generator Gall. We had a box set for that. That was like kind of a shorter season, like a 13 episode show as opposed to like usual 26 episodes. But what a twist ending that one had. It's interesting. I feel like I had another college friend that did like a whole, practically wrote a whole like, not an actual dissertation, but practically a dissertation on the ending for Generator Gall because it was well set up, but it was a crazy twist. Here's a Noel. Generator Gall. Well, generator is in like, you know, a generator. And then Gawl, I think, was spelled G-A-W-L. If I recall correctly. I think I actually still have a box set. I think I bought a copy of Generator Gall for myself. I haven't watched it forever. But, yeah, it's a short series, 13 episodes. G-A-W-L. That's an old anime, too. I'm not sure when it came out. It's either 90s or early 2000s. Yeah, we watched a bunch of, like, old school anime. When I was in college. Because I was in college, like, early 2000s. So what was available was early 2000s and 90s anime. And 80s, obviously. Like, we had Ranma 1/2. That's an old one. I'm not up to date with the current animes. All I know is old stuff from the 90s. Which there's a lot of good stuff. Unlike these antlers, which are a pain in the butt to draw. Need like a blender model of them. I have Blender. I suppose I should make that, but I've forgotten all my modeling skills. I used to be able to do that. So I knew how to model, and now I'm kind of like, I can move boxes around and extrude stuff. Move the camera. I'm sure if I actually worked at it, I could get back to it. But I also learned how to model in, like, Maya as opposed to Blender. I wonder how many people can still use Maya anymore. I'm sure the licenses on that are super expensive. Spider-Verse use Maya? Okay, that makes sense. I was so not happy to learn, because I love Spider-Verse. I was so not happy to learn that there was some serious crunch going on that was not good for the animators. You can't do that! You cannot do that kind of stuff, like it was just some unreasonable working conditions. And that sucks, how often it is that, like, you know, something that looks like a dream thing to work on. Yeah, that's not okay. You can't do that. That's not a failure for the artist, that's a failure for management. And that's really disappointing. Especially with something like animation, there's a reason why you plan as much of that stuff in advance as you can. Because, like, unlike live action, like, it's really costly to do retakes on that kind of stuff. Yeah, so many people left. You can't do that. You're just killing your own artists. People who obviously did incredible work because it looks so good. But, like, killing yourself is not a requirement, and definitely can't be a requirement for good art. You gotta look after your own health. That's why I do my stretches all the time, and my stretches all the time, and I don't overwork, because when that happened, I injured myself and had a total freak out because it was scary. Yeah, no, I will wait. I know it was a cliffhanger for Spider-Verse. I will wait as long as it takes if it means the animators are properly taken care of. Because you can't kill your artist for that kind of stuff. It's just not okay. Like, if we have to wait another 5 years, fine. Do it. Sony, please. Like, we've been waiting, you know, how many years for rest of Deltarune? Good. It should take as long as it needs to. Because, again, Toby injured himself, too, overworking. And now it's not going to slow down and make things more difficult. Luckily, he's been able to manage it, but... Ugh. Can't expect that kind of stuff. Exactly. No, there's no movie without the artist. It's always how it is. Yeah, Toby got pretty much the same injury I did, or at least a similar one. I got a repetitive stress injury, and I know how terrifying that is. I have never cried as hard as when I injured my wrist and I was afraid I couldn't draw again. It was terrifying. But very luckily, I got some physical therapy and a bunch of massage therapy, and my work was like, that's okay, we'll keep you on, but we'll reduce your hours until you're healed. So I was fortunate in that sense. But even now, again, I'm keeping an eye on the clock, so in half an hour, I'll get up and stretch. Because it super duper sucks. And it's kind of an inevitable thing when you're getting older, too. Like, when you're young, you don't even notice it that much, because you're like, yeah, sure, I can keep going forever. But you can't, is the problem. And a good job, good management, if you have any kind of job that requires physical labor like that, whether it's, you know, heavy physical labor or drawing, which is still physical labor, because you're still using your body for most of that, then a good management will be able to work out a way for you to do your job safely. So that's disappointing, because again, I love Spider-Verse. I won't take away from the fact that it's an incredible looking movie. But management really needs to actually properly account for people's health, especially for the artists. Alright, and on to the next page. Oh, that's good. I mean, he's probably not going to, like, say one way or another whether Gwen is trans, but it's nice that, you know, there's that support there. It's important. Okay. Oh, yeah. Take these all down. See what I'm doing. Yeah, they probably should be less than that, though. Yeah. That is cool. I just really like the art style for Gwen's universe. Of course. Well, can't help that. All you can do is make the art you want to make. And at least nowadays, it's easier for people to get access to, you know, art that they may not be able to otherwise. Not always super easy, but easier. At least, even back in the 90s, you probably couldn't have done that. If you didn't have it, you didn't have it. And that was the way of it. So in that sense, it's really good that we have this access. Oh yeah, Spider-Verse is amazing. Definitely see the first one first, because it helps explain a lot. And I think the story's a little bit tighter, but then again, the second one is basically ends on a cliffhanger, just as a warning, because they're going to continue it in the third movie. But just, in terms of artistry, just absolutely gorgeous. Really not pushing the envelope of what you can do with the, excuse me, do with the medium. And just as an artist, I really appreciate that. More water. I'm talking too much. It could be either or. Could be all of the above, honestly. And back to Noel's crazy antlers. Crazy antlers. Yeah, I can especially see like them putting that in Gwen's room, considering her backstory with her dad. Like, Gwen, no. Alright, ugh. Sadly, my time on Spidey has come to an end. I'm going to miss working with the little Spidey kids. They were a lot of fun. Maybe I'll come back to it in the future. I don't know. We will see. But at least I can say I got to draw a little bit of Spider-Gwen. Just a little bit. Oh, it's time for my break. Speaking of taking breaks. So let me get up and stretch. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I'll definitely watch a Spider-Gwen movie. Because in terms of spider people, I think she's a very interesting one. Because again, usually in the spider canon, you know, Gwen gets killed because of the very famous moment from comics. So it's cool to see a little switcheroo around where she gets to be the hero. And poor Peter has bad things happen to him. Plus, like, she just has, like, in terms of a costume, her design is so great. Like, it's just super duper well comes together in terms of color, style. Really good. Yeah, well, also, at least in Spider-Verse, like, Peter's story, I think, like, is kind of resolved. Like, his whole thing in the first movie was, you know, I washed up and middle-aged bled. I don't want to, you know, broke up with Mary Jane, and then by the end, he's like, okay, we're back together with Mary Jane. Now he's happy as a family man. So I feel like a lot of his stuff has been resolved. Not like, oh, everything's fine now, but just in a sense of, like, okay, the major issues that he had in the first movie were taken care of, whereas Gwen and Miles still have things that they need to take care of. I'm sad we never got to see Peter Porker, Spider-Ham, much again. Yeah, it's a very tragic thing with Gwen in her universe, where they were friends. And I think some of it was like in the comics, Peter, you know, had multiple love interests because, you know, that's more interesting drama. Yeah, I heard the Miles Morales game was pretty good. What? Bumping into all the extra screens around here now. Stretch. I should have stretched before I started. I forgot. Alright, be right back. edit. Here we go. It is totally fine to be a comic nerd. Comics are an underappreciated medium. Certainly the people that work on them, like, you work your butt off on comics, and they do not pay well in terms of an artistic career. So you really gotta love them to work on them. It's honestly a little frustrating because, like, they're the originators of, like, these really big important properties, but all the money is coming from, like, you know, toy sales and movies and TV, cartoons, stuff like that. But comics is where all the stories happen. With some exceptions, like some, you know, animated universe. How was I doing the thing on this? I can't remember where I put all the icicles on her antlers. Can't quite remember. Yeah, it's fine to be a comic nerd. Comics are cool. Well, certainly they're also filled with drama, considering, you know, some of these stories have been running for decades and decades and decades at this point, which is not an easy thing to do. And they go through tons of writers, tons of artists. Sometimes writers have really good ideas, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the editors are like, nah, we should do this to increase sales, and it's not a great idea. Just depends. Most of my comics knowledge comes from watching Linkara, because I watched a bunch of his channels watched his channel for a lot. Even back in the days of Channel Awesome, before it went all bleh. But then I just kept watching on YouTube. Yeah. The lizard design for him in the movie was super cool. Like, heck yeah, big lizard. Yeah, I wouldn't mind checking out the Spider-Gwen comics. Nom walk. Cool designs. Also, again, that like a Renaissance Man Vulture was just super cool. I love the art style for that. Yep, love me some Undertale Deltarunes. I enjoy some American games, some Japanese games, all kinds of games. But since I'm more of an RPG person, probably into playing a lot more Japanese games that way. I've certainly tried some more American ones, and some of them are fun. But I haven't really played a Souls game, which I'm sure is ironic considering the AU I'm doing right now. People are like, oh, a Souls game. I'm like, looks fun, I don't want to play it. Thanks, bye. Everybody's going wild over Elden Ring the other year. Which episodes did you work on for Spidey? I can't say, because they haven't aired yet. And honestly, like, very little. I was only popping in to help out briefly. So I worked on a episode and 2 shorts, which are gonna, I think those go up on YouTube, I'm not sure. Yeah, this was my first time on Spidey. And it was literally just like, okay, when my last contract, you know, finished, I need something else in the meanwhile. They're like, hey, can you help out here? And I'm like, sure. So I jumped in. It was a really good crew. Really good people. Yeah, I haven't done anything that's come out yet. that was my first time on the Spidey crew. I think the most recent things I've done that have actually come out have been ponies. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I guess I decided this version of Chris, like, always has one eye visible. Makes it very different from the usual Chris, where no eyes visible. Although I think when I do them, like, in the light world, before they get sacrificed, probably stick with the usual hair covering, no eyes visible. For reasons. Ninja Chris. Teenage Mutant Ninja Chris's. Teenage Mutant Ninja Chris's. Yeah, honestly, that was really how it felt. Like, I know people are like, oh, you know, I want to work on a really cool thing, like, you know, Steven Universe or Amphibia. And that's really fun, but honestly, there's just something really, like, not relaxing, but just nice about doing a show that's intended for little kids. You don't have to worry about all this extra fandom stuff. Like, somebody linked a video, they're like, oh yeah, my nephew really likes Spidey, and they just cute video of, like, you know, a 5-year-old or 4 or 5-year-old or something, and he's got all of his little Spidey toys in their little Spidey car, and he's just rolling around with it, having a good time. And I'm like, oh, that is nice when you, like, there's just something really special about seeing even, like, you know, the little kids that this show is intended for enjoying it, you know, saying the characters' names and doing their own little adventures for it and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's worthwhile in of itself. You don't have to have this, you know, whole business with you know, I must be approved by adults. Like, it's enough, like, kids are worthwhile on their own to make stuff for them, even little kids. I think it's easy to forget that because, like, especially something with artists, like, we want people to, you know, acknowledge that we're doing hard work kind of stuff. That this is not, you know, just lazing around or funny fun stuff, that it's work. And it's hard to get that, you know, when you're making stuff for little kids, because people don't take little kids very seriously. But I think it's important to remember that, you know, you should take little kids very seriously. They are little people. They have their own little interests, and it's worthwhile to make stuff for them, even if you as an adult don't really get much out of it. They're getting something out of it, and that's good. Like, yeah, you've got some, you know, preschool shows that adults can get stuff out of, like Bluey, but not, most things are not Bluey. And that's fine. Hello, thank you for coming. We are working on this next Eldritchrune comic. It's thankfully a nice short one, just 4 pages. And it's mostly just a little conversation between Chris and Noel. Oh, I really like Steven Universe, actually. I still need to see Future, but, like, I actually really liked that kind of art style for it. And the music especially, like, I had the soundtrack for Steven Universe, because, like, the instrumentation, chiptune kind of stuff, the methods they use for the music were really appealing to me. Oh, Twin Runes? Yeah, that's, how do you pronounce the artist's name? Akanemon? Akane? I think it's just Akane. But, yeah, Twin Runes is awesome. I'm really enjoying it. They're very good at the comedy. I wish I was better at the comedy. I feel like I'm not very funny when I draw stuff. I'm like, I wish I had Toby's sense of humor, because his stuff is just so funny. I always end up in the serious side of it. But I really enjoyed the comedy. But yeah, I'm enjoying Twin Runes. It is good fun. Yeah, as they say, dying is easy, comedy's hard. especially like I think with comedy, it's easy to fall into like mean comedy because that's easy. It's hard to make like really funny character comedy like Undertale and Deltarune have. Yeah, you gotta have the spark for it. Oh my goodness, what a loser. What a loser. It's a preschooler show, dude. Like, come on. Also, they call her Ghost Spider to differentiate because they can't all be Spider-Man. Like, they call Miles' Spider Spin. Because, again, this is for kids. They can't all be Spider-Man, so they're just different. That's how they differentiate them. So it's Spidey, Ghosty, and Spin. It's for preschoolers, dude. Get a life. Like, come on. It's easy that way. You can easily tell them all apart. Thoughts on KFC? Again, I think Twin Runes is doing a fun stuff with that. Because I feel like, yeah, people like to kind of, put all three of them together. I don't think Chris would do well with that. Because I don't think Chris does very well around other humans. They seem to be really... Other humans seem to kind of freak them out for some reason, or at least upset them. We're not sure why yet, but obviously they're kind of like, I don't want to deal with other humans. I don't want to deal with that. So, while Kara and Frisk probably have their own thing going on, I think Chris would be like, oh, I don't want to be involved in that. I ain't your big bro. Big sis. Yeah, that's just silly. That's just so silly. Get a life. I'm sorry, what a loser. You're literally ranting about a show for 5-year-olds. Why are you doing this to yourself? Who is my childhood crush? Like, fictionally? Or real life? I don't know if I had much in the way of fictional crushes. Like, when I was in 4th grade, I told myself I had this crush on a boy that was, a little different from the other boys in the class. And then grew up and discovered he was gay and I was ace. So that didn't work out at all for us. Or maybe it did. Fictional crush, good grief. Again, I don't know, because I'm ace, so I don't know if I had much in the way of a fictional crush. Gotta be something. I guess maybe Brooklyn from Gargoyles, because he was cool. Just in terms of, like, cool fictional characters I was big into it. Maybe Brooklyn. Yeah, 4th grade, like... That's around the time, like, little kids, will start getting crushes, and, like, they're like, oh, I have a crush on so-and-so, and I'm like, well, I guess I have to have that, too, if everybody else is doing that. So I told myself I have a crush on this boy, and, yep, I'm ace, and he's gay. So, there you go. Yeah, Brooklyn was so cool. I love Brooklyn. Also, maybe, I guess Johnny Quest from, like, the 90s Johnny Quest, not the 60s one. I watched the 90s one quite a bit. Again, not so much crush as, like, ooh, interested in this character kind of thing. But Brooklyn was very cool. And also Angela was also very cool. I don't know, Word Girl. Maybe that was after my time. Brooklyn's cool. He made a motorcycle, and then he crashed it. Yeah. I mean, that would explain it. But when I was a little kid at the time, like, I didn't know being ace was a thing. I had never heard of that. I didn't even know trans people were a thing, because it was, like, the 90s, and you just didn't talk about that at all. So, I just thought, well, all my friends say they have crushes. I guess I have to have one. So that's what I told myself. Didn't work out because I'm ace. Oh well. I'm just thankful my family is not constantly like, when are you getting married? They're pretty chill. For that, I am thankful. Yeah, I honestly didn't even know that being ace was a thing until like my 20s, because I just had no frame of reference. I literally talked to a doctor once because I'm like, I am not interested in anybody. Is there something wrong with me? Because I didn't know what else could explain it. And my doctor at the time was like, oh, you know, some people are just really late bloomers, blah, 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 blah. Like, at least they weren't testing me for anything. They were just kind of dismissing my fears about it. And then somebody mentioned, well, maybe I had a friend who was like, well, you should look up asexuality. Maybe that's you. And I did, and I was like, this is a thing? Other people feel this way? And that's what stuck. What do you like about him? It's like, I don't know. He's got cool character design. Like, usually when I see a interesting person in public, I'm like, oh, they've got a great character design. That's not how people find people attractive normally. Papyrus fighting Toy Freddy. Who was winning? I hope it was Papyrus. Oh, darn it. Wrong page. Yeah. We don't know why Chris is uncomfortable around other humans right now. But that seems to be the impression they're giving off anyway. They seem to be much more comfortable with monsters in their life. I know, it's a compliment, but you don't know how to say it. But that was my biology teacher in high school. He literally looked like a walrus, so I drew him as one. And he really liked that for some reason. I don't know why, because I drew him as a walrus because he was like this really big, round guy, you know, a little short, stocky, and he had that big, bushy walrus mustache. So he looked like a walrus. I do wonder if they'll explain in Eldritchrune why the characters seem to change color a bit when they're in the Dark World. Except for a general fantasy change. Venom and Eddie Brock. I like to imagine, at least, because again, my current theory is that Chris literally asked to be possessed. And then maybe was like, oh, maybe this isn't a good idea after all. Because, you know, teenagers, they do impulsive, stupid things. Especially if they're already dealing with way too much, like depression or isolation and all that stuff. So I like to think that Chris, again, literally invited the player, the demon, in. So they have I mean, obviously it depends on the player. But the relationship is not purely antagonistic, but it's a little fraught. Yeah, again, people act like, oh, you know, stealing a soul. Like, but teenagers do that kind of thing. They do stupid, impulsive stuff. The issue with, like, you know, summoning a demon is most of the time that doesn't result in anything. It's just a universe where it worked. And they're like, oh, great, now I gotta deal with this. I'm 16 and I gotta deal with this. I don't know if they're 16, but they feel like they are. Feels like it to me. It's not a phase, Mom. I sold my soul to the devil and now a demon controls my body. Feels like, we'll fix that with more church. We already knew that Chris was, like, interested in occult stuff anyway, so. You have to. Are you prepared to take care of a demon? It's like a whole pet, but different. Guess it depends on the kind of demon you were summoning. I never tried to summon a demon at the sleepovers I went to because I was a good Christian. But also, like, you would try, you know, ooh, spooky things like light as a feather, stiff as a board, which it never worked. At least not for me. Chris would not have a good time in the Star Wars universe? I don't know. Guess it depends. Are they just a random human? Are they a Jedi? Who are they? What are we gonna do when the demon actually gets here? Are you a single mother? You will be soon. That was so funny, but so threatening. No. Let Chris go to Hot Topic. Let Susie have ham sandwiches and let Chris go to the Hot Topic. Yeah, if you're gonna summon a demon, you have to figure out what you're gonna do when it actually gets here. At least Chris seems to kind of thought that in terms of like, okay, sure, possess me. And it was like, wait a minute, this is not great actually. Again, don't know if that's actually what happened, but I'm still pretty convinced that it's something along those lines. If for no other reason, I think that would be very interesting. Chris likes weird stuff. They like weird occult things. Eating moss. Big hole in the well. Chris, why are you so small? They go to Spencer's. But that's really different from Hot Topic. You can get one of those cool little balls you put your fingers on and it makes the electricity zap towards them. I didn't hurt you, you shut up. Poor Chris. Yeah, plasma ball, those things are cool. And you know what I love getting at the mall? Well, we only could get to the mall because parents are obviously never going to buy this, but those big rain sticks where, like, you tip them upside down and they go because all these beads are inside and it makes it sound like it's raining. I thought that was the coolest thing as a kid. I wonder if they still sell those. I really have no clue what else they would be for except to tip them upside down and make them sound like it's raining for, like, 2 minutes. Those were in, like, the Discovery store before Discovery Channel went all stupid. Oh, that's cool. Dry ice fog. That always spooked me when I was younger. I don't know why. I'm like, oh, dry ice is scary. It's like it'll burn me. It's all smoky. Remember to do Chris's eyes. Red. No, don't burn yourself in the dry ice. That's stupid. And give your baby sister good advice without being corrupted by Coco Melon. Probably gonna have to spend time with them that's off of the screen. Like, engage with them in person. Little fun activities where they can pretend and stuff like that. Read to them. I definitely say read to them. Because I was read to when I was, like, really little. And even if I couldn't understand it, I still appreciated that. But yeah, just engage with them in person. With whatever games they want to play. Read to them. Especially, like, if they're under 2. Really want to cut down on screen time. Because it's not very good until you can, like, get to an age where you can differentiate between, like, real and not real better. But that's the issue, is that a lot of parents are super busy, so they have to rely on screen time to keep baby occupied. But really, you probably shouldn't give them screens until they're at least 2. At least not like personalized screens. Like I was watching, Sesame Street or whatever. But that was back in the day, where, we don't have tablets or anything like that. That was just a big old TV, and it went off when parents said it went off. Yeah. I do feel like Bluey is actually a good system for that, because it's showing parents how they should engage with their kids, as well as like, let's see, I get rid of the roughs on that. Yay, I just realized it's my stretchy time. But yeah, Bluey is pretty good, I feel like, because it's showing, hey, this is how, as a parent, you should play with your kids. Because it's very, very engaging. It's really, yes-anding them in terms of play, which I think is pretty good for them developing their own skills and stuff like that. Actually, I might slightly longer be right back, because I need to get some orange juice for myself after I do my stretchies. It's time for my orange juice. Very weird. I don't really like eating oranges, but I like orange juice. And I like eating apples, but I don't really like drinking apple juice. It's just funky. How do I feel about orange juice with pulp? Not big on pulp. I've had it sometimes where it has pulp in it, but I don't really like it with pulp. I prefer it with no pulp. Because invariably, like, you're gonna get the liquid first, and then you get a bunch of pulp at the bottom, and that doesn't feel good to drink. Like, if I wanted, like, mushed up orange, I would have a smoothie. If I want juice, then I want juice. What age should I introduce my baby sister to Sesame Street? Probably 3 or 4 is my guess. I watched Sesame Street when I was very little, and I'm very glad I did. That was a good show to have when I was a little kid. When I was very little, we watched Sesame Street, and we watched Reading Rainbow, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, all that good stuff. Yeah, I'd probably say avoid Coco Melon, but Bluey, I think, is another good preschool show. Literally making me cry, because I'm like, ah. But the production value on Bluey is very high, and I feel like it's a solid show for both kids and adults. Fraggle Rock is pretty good. I wouldn't say that's preschool. It's probably a little bit older, like more like 5, 6. But I did watch Fraggle Rock when I was little, and I really enjoyed that. Yeah, Reading Rainbow and Mr. Rogers are both really good. I saw that documentary about Mr. Rogers and Fred Rogers, and I just bawled through like the last half of it. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. All right, I'll be right back. I need to get orange juice and do one more stretch. I return with almond juice. Okay. Or specifically, I gotta take my iron. I gotta take orange juice with the iron because apparently vitamin C helps you absorb iron, so that's why I take them together. More of these. Yeah, whichever one you feel like drawing. It's all your arts. Yeah. At least that's what my doctor said. I take B12 and iron. And the B12 I can just take by itself, but like the no, that's that one. What they mentioned was that basically if you take iron, like taking vitamin C at the same time helps absorb it. So that's why I just have some orange juice with the iron. Oh wait, this is page 4. Let me go on to page 3. I was like, I didn't think I was at that part yet. It's because I wasn't. Incorrecto. Try again. Alright. I can't type worth crap. It doesn't really matter. It's for my own thing. But I like being able to see what I'm doing. Did I do this wrong? Yeah, I did. I thought I was on the correct layer. Get on my layer! Once again, I'm like, Chris, you're so small! Like Ben from Kingdom Hearts. How did I get so small? Have I seen Midnight Gospel? No, I kind of want to, because I think I saw an advertisement for it, and I'm like, oh, that looks very weird. I kind of want to see that. But I haven't seen it. Maybe someday. Always so much to see. So much to do. Chris snuggling with the giant beastie. Yeah, I think it is by the Adventure Time creator. Or one of them, I'm sure. Adventure Time has multiple people behind it. I haven't played any of the Persona games. I'm sure I probably like some of them, but I haven't been able to get myself into them. Like one time I remember somebody, when I was doing a Ask blog for Kingdom Hearts way back in the day, somebody asked me for a Persona thing. And I was trying to look it up specifically for the character I was drawing it for, and I had a really hard time with it. I just couldn't quite figure it out. I don't know why when I was researching it just didn't make much sense to me. I don't know, do you think Chris is that short? I don't know if they're that short. I feel like they're just kind of average height. Yeah, I'm not sure about how it works. Cause like on the one hand, it's like, oh, this is kind of trans representation. On the other hand, it's kind of less so. So it's a little weird. Yeah, I'm not sure how short Chris is supposed to be. I mean, they're too short to reach, the ridiculous controls for Queen's game, but I don't know if those were really fairly made in the first place. Alright, no worries. Lurking is fine. Lurkin's all good. And I guess it also depends, like, short in comparison to what? Like, are they short in comparison to monsters? Because monsters are generally taller. Like, I imagine Asriel's... I don't know, I always pictured Asriel's quite a bit taller than Chris. Very big brother vibes. But are they tall for a human? Short for a human? I don't know. We have no other humans to compare them to. Tall's real. I think most people have been interpreting Asriel as like little lanky and stuff like that, which awkward teenage Asriel, very cute. Try and get back to Chris here. Well, it's platform based. Yeah, I can imagine that. I don't know if he would anytime soon, but I'm sure he could. If he felt like it. Oh yeah, Growth Spurt's a fun AU. Also very cute. I don't know what's updated in a while, but I'm sure people's are busy. I'm trying to keep up with some more AUs. Not all of them, because there's so many. I feel like a lot of people like feel pressure to do like fan games and stuff for AUs when it's like making games is really time consuming, guys. It's a lot of work. That does sound hard. You're stuck in Undertale time prison forever. Lynx, what do you do in time prison? They broke all the AUs and they all grow back. Okay, but that's stupid. That's why I want somebody to make like a 8-hour video essay just explaining all the AUs to me and how they all relate to each other. I'd watch that while I'm working. But I don't know if anybody would actually be willing to tackle that task. Yeah, I feel like instead of actually making a fan game from scratch, it'd be easier to start with like, okay, let's just make a mod. So you already like have that framework to work off of, instead of trying to build everything from the ground up, which I'm sure is ridiculously hard. I couldn't do it, I tried, and I was like, oh, this is intimidating. Yeah, I try to watch Underverse. I'm like, okay, this is kind of interesting, but I got a little lost quickly because I hadn't seen any of the other stuff for it. I wasn't following Xtail or anything, so I'm kind of like, okay, who are these people? They're neat, but what's going on? But I did try. Animation was great. Just because I know fan animation takes forever, too. Undertale and Deltarune crossover AU? Which one? There's like a bunch, aren't there? We talked about Twin Runes earlier, which I like. I'm gonna play Delta Traveler once it's finished, but I think it's still in the process of being made. I don't know what other crossovers we're talking about. I don't think I've seen Gaster's Great Escape. Maybe I've seen pieces of it, but I haven't sat down and read it. Yeah, I want to play Delta Traveler. Again, I just want to wait until it's done. Which, if it takes a while, then it takes a while. That's fine by me. I will keep an eye on it in the meanwhile. Yeah, they are very Sans-centric. And it's fine to be it's fine to, like, they've released some chapters now. It's fine to play those. Like, I can understand people playing them now. But I just personally wanted to wait until it was done. Because then I can, like, get the full experience at once kind of thing. Or at least, even if it doesn't actually finish, like once it gets to a point where the creator's like, I'm done with it. Earthbound Build Traveler. That's also why I should finish Earthbound. I'm getting there, slow but sure. At least I'm in a new area now. Yeah, it's a lot of Sans. At this point, I feel like the Sans fandom is kind of separate from the Undertale fandom. Because, like, I've seen, like, a whole, like, big elaborate things. And it's all just versions of Sans. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but what about everybody else? And also, like, the design has changed so much that it doesn't even, like, he's not, like, squat, funny, silly, kind of fat and schlubby Sans anymore. He's, like, just kind of a skeleton anime guy. Which I'm like, you know, I ain't gonna rain on anybody's parade for what they want to do, but that's just not super interesting to me. Yeah. Like, you can get some really interesting variants and stuff like that. Well, I haven't heard about River's Morning. Story shift. Break his brain. Well, luckily he didn't see that. At least with Toby now, it seems like he's kind of accepted, okay, this is a thing that, you know, I only have so much control over, so I'm going to control the parts that I want to control, which right now is Eldritchrune. Hello, thank you for coming. Yeah, this is a fairly short stream. I'm probably going to have to stop in time for lunch just to take care of Alfie's a bit, and then also eat my lunch and kind of clean up a little bit before I go take care of the cat. But I wanted to get some arts in before that. Yeah, things are going okay. Sorry for the noise in the background. I have to have the AC on. It's getting a little hot. Not too bad, but a little bit hot. Got crisp. I thought that was very funny. I thought it was especially funny that he won it on Twitter but not on Tumblr. Like, they did the Sexy Man poll again on Tumblr, and he didn't win it on Tumblr. He won it on Twitter. Do I do more? I might, especially if the schedule allows for it. I think they'll probably be shorter than afternoon streams. But if that's okay with people, then sure, I can do shorter morning ones. Just depending on my schedule. Yeah, I switched it to morning now because again I gotta go take care of my friend's cat. It was a sweet little old energy ball. Oh, I'm sure Sand would be a big old troll on Twitter. As long as he found it amusing. Yeah, I love that fic that Toby wrote. That was really funny. That was especially cute. Like his weird, like, Garfield Sans fan art. That's just funny. Garfield. Aw. I'm glad this is a nice start to your day. A nice start to my day, too. Let's see. Oh, congrats. That's cool. And a fun feeling. I don't think I've posted anything on AO3. Because when I used to write fanfic, I posted on like a... What was it? I either posted it on like LiveJournal or on fanfiction.net. That's what was available back then. But after AO3 kind of became a thing, I stopped doing fanfic as much and just did fan comics. Yeah, fanfiction.net. Which, does it still exist? I don't know. But that's what I posted stuff on. You're not gonna find my stuff on fanfiction.net anyway. It's under a different pseudonym and it's very old. So don't think you'll find much of it there. Okay, it's still up. Oh, good for it, I guess. Trying to work out. Oh, that's her ear. I'm like, what is that? Yeah, I imagine AO3 is more popular because FF.net went through like multiple purges of like, you can't post this stuff here, and that was really frustrating to people, whereas AO3 has a more robust system. Even if they really need to take care of their volunteers better, with that whole problem going on. I don't know if that was resolved. Popular God's Own comic? Wasn't that, yeah, demo. Wasn't there a, Flowey is not a good life coach? Didn't that get a fan comic based off of it? I could have sworn that's what happened. Yeah, Flowey's not a good life coach? I'm pretty sure that's a fanfic that got its own comic. Mafia Fell comic that got a comic adaptation? Okay, so there's multiple ones then. Also, hello, thank you for coming. So, I'm sure there's other ones too. People like really like that fanfic and they're like, okay, I'm gonna do a comic of it, and at least you have your script all done. Yeah, that's Flowey is not a good life coach. I think that's the Papyrus and Flowey one. I don't know if there's another one aside from that. Oh, I think I saw like that Mafia one. I think I saw that one as like a comic dub at some point. I didn't watch it because I'm like, okay, this looks not super interesting for me, but nice art though. So, but yeah, I think it's pretty not safe for work because I think it's adult Franz, basically. I'm gonna say my stuff's dark. Okay. Dang, snowflake antlers. Yeah, I'm not a Fran shipper either. People can ship what they want, but that ain't my cuppa. Did you see any Eldritchrune videos in the style of those horror analog? I feel like there might have been one, but I haven't watched it. Didn't somebody make some kind of like, I don't know if it was Eldritchrune or if it was Undertale specifically, some kind of analog horror thing? I don't know. I know somebody made like a long time ago, somebody made like a Eldritchrune .exe style thing, which was okay, but also like they pretty much were using the true lab section for the .exe part, and it's like, that's already kind of scary. I haven't seen Help Tale. Is Help Tale a analog horror or .exe kind of thing? I don't remember. Maybe there's multiples. Very broken horror stuff. Oh, right, there's a thing that Julia did. That's right. I haven't seen anything that was like, I mean, aside from maybe like short one-shot comics. Chris, I'm coming out of the TV to get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm a video game character. Excuse me. You want orange juice? More orange juice. Yeah, that's why I'm like, please, somebody sacrifice yourself on the altar of time and make a giant 8-hour video essay about all these AUs. Then I'll know about them. I can read which ones I know I want to. There was called Delta the Cool. Okay, I would read that kind of creepypasta. They have red eyes and came out of the video game and ate my pie, and then they went back into the video game. That's exactly what Chris would do if they were .exe. That's really funny. To spook you and steal your food. I've come out of the video game to tell you I'm stealing your food. Bye. So I came out of the video game to tell you to stop. She's still got her big buck teeth. Oh no. It's just a file extension. That's all it is. They would just make it sound like scary if you say .exe because like that's just a generic, you know, file extension. So it's like, oh, what could be in here? Anything can be in here. It's .exe. Yeah, I think Sonic EXE would probably be a video game that, or a creepypasta that got popular because it was bad. Because if you actually read Sonic.exe, it's very silly. .exe is the file extension for creepypastas only. Someday we're gonna have a new version of creepypastas that'll be like .png. Dun dun dun. Or current horror story. .webp. Curse you, WebP. You are the true horror. Oh, Psychonauts is fun. That was a good game. I'm glad I tried it. Yeah, I feel like I remember seeing a .exe Undertale thing, but I don't think it was that scary because like it kind of started in True Lab, and it's like True Lab already kind of looks like a .exe. You're not adding that much to it. I feel like I mostly see Sonic.exe stuff with like Friday Night Funkin', which is kind of a weird but maybe natural place for it to go. I don't know. Let's see. Oh yeah, .hack. That's another series from like 90s, early 2000s. I didn't know much about the series, but I did have some soundtracks for it that I really liked. I had a couple of cool songs from .hack. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Friday Night Funkin'. Like, in theory, I'm like, oh, a rhythm game. Well, I like me a rhythm game, but, I don't know. Sword Art Online. I don't know. From what I've seen of Sword Art Online, it's kind of a little questionable. Maybe I came in at the wrong time, but I was watching a friend watch Sword Art Online. They were doing it for like a, you know, podcast reasons, stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. It's a little weird. And they agreed with me, but I don't know. But I haven't seen enough of it to probably properly judge anyway. Yeah, I think it's like kind of a weird misogyny thing going on with SAO. Alright, time to stretch. Time to stretch. And I did not see the remake Sonic.exe. Stretching. Stretching. During the ads is what I do. Oy. Thanks for making some progress on these things. As well as antlers are what's taking up all the time. And they're so complicated. Well, why did I give you snowflake antlers? Why? Pain in the butt. Favorite indie horror game? Trying to think of a favorite one. This would mostly be people I've watched Markiplier play. Because I used to watch him a bunch back in the day. Honestly, Iron Lung's on my mind right now for obvious reasons. But I don't know if it's my favorite. What is... I'm trying to think of a game that I enjoyed watching Markiplier play that looked interesting. Oh, Anatomy looks pretty freaky in terms of an indie horror game. That looks interesting. I did not call him Marky Moo, no. I'm not even subscribed to him. I just put on, like, playlists of him playing indie horror games and watch them because they were fun. Hello, thank you for coming. But yeah, that game, Anatomy, about the house, I feel like that's a pretty solid indie horror game that was very minimalistic but very effective. Oh yeah, like I really liked FNAF back when the first 1, 2, 3 games came out. Me and my post-college friends were all excited and into it. I think the lore got too complicated. But, you know, I did some FNAF fan art back then during like the first few games. I didn't really keep up with it, but I did a little bit of FNAF art. You can probably dig up somewhere. It's probably on like my DeviantArt or whatever, but I haven't updated that in years, so who knows with that. Yeah. I think what I find FNAF interesting is how much it's horror for kids, and you get into the whole mascot horror thing. Alright, be right back for one more stretch. Did my stretch and I'm back. Alright, thank you for lurking. We're probably going to do one more session, and then I will also head off to do lunch myself. So thanks for coming by. Yeah, we'll do one more. Hopefully I can get all the line art down for this part at least. I like blazing through the line art. It's my fave. Well, honestly, like, in terms of horror, like, more than actually looking at the horror myself, I like watching people explain the horror to me. So I'm like, oh, yeah, I know, I like Nightmind and Nexpo and Inside of Mind and Sagan Hawks and Wendigoon, all those channels that, like, here's what happens in the horror. And I'm like, fascinating. Thank you for telling me this. I'm never gonna watch it myself. Alright, thanks very much. Yeah, I'm not sure when I'm going to stream again. Hopefully I can next week and next Friday, but it will depend on my schedule. And also, just trying to ease back into a new contract that I feel like is probably going to be a bit more take a bit more of my time than the last one was. We'll see how it goes. Nearly a decade ago. Ah! Yeah, I like hearing people talk about things that they like. I'm like, yes, explain your interest to me in great detail. I do not share them, I just like the fact that you're explaining it to me. Luckily, there's a lot of opportunities now for people to just like explain their weird interest to them, to me, to stuff, as it goes. Oh, thank you. I don't feel like it was that impressive, but I don't know, I did a little bit of it at the time. But I was like most people, I'm like, wow, this FNAF stuff's cool. I'm gonna make art about it. I think I actually sold some of it at conventions too, because that was back when I was doing conventions. I have not been able to since I moved to Canada. I wouldn't mind doing so again, but I just haven't been to a convention in a long time. My old Undertale art. Ah, it's so old. It's so old! Blah. Blah. I still somehow got what you were saying. Undertale. Undertale. Sans Undertale. No good. Which AU is that Sans from? I'm Sans Undertale. Spidey and his amazing friend Sans. Sansy and his amazing friends. And then somebody goes on a 4-hour rant. Sans Undertale wouldn't do that in this show for preschoolers. I do remember Littletail. I don't know if that's still going. They're just cute kid characters. There you go. Even though little kids do not actually talk like that. We like to pretend they do. For reasons. It's more like baby talk for dogs. Dogs can't tell the difference. They be snoozing and cruising. Yep. So many AUs, but I kind of wonder how many of those are actually properly you would define as an AU, like alternate universe, rather than just, I don't know, what would be a good word for that? A take? Is universe the proper term? I don't know. Thoughts on Transformers? They're cool. They're cool. I haven't read like much of the comics. I didn't watch Transformers, the original one, growing up. I've mostly just seen a few of the movies. Oh, I did see Transformers Prime. I did see all of that, and that was cool. I think I saw a little bit of Rescue Bots, which is also pretty good. That's another example of a preschool show that's really good. So I've seen a little bit of Prime, a little bit of Rescue Bots. Unfortunately, some of the Michael Bay movies. And otherwise, not that much Transformers. Hello, hello, thank you for coming. Although I'm probably not going to be on for that much longer, maybe about another half hour. Because then after that I need to go and get myself lunch. I really need to read the script for the new show I'm starting on Monday, tomorrow. So I gotta read the script for it, so I'm prepared. And then gotta go look after the kitty and do a bunch of cooking. The thing with it is like, if I have a brush for it, it's not gonna be necessarily the correct angle. It'll certainly be faster, but I want to make sure it's the correct angle compared to everything else. I'd have to adjust it anyway. Yeah, I guess if you weren't especially if you were raised on like the cartoons, the old cartoons didn't have much else, then Optimus would have felt like a father figure. I was not really raised on Transformers though. I haven't seen much of it until I was an adult. What channel was that old Transformers on? Can't quite remember. Bandit's this generation's father figure. He's a good father figure. Bandit's cool. Look, he was being a little bit of a stinker in the recent episodes. I finally am on season 3. Okay, what's going on here? Can't tell what's happening. Everybody loves Bandit. I always get slight whiplash upon hearing Bandit because, again, I used to watch Real Adventures of Johnny Quest when I was growing up, and Bandit was the name of the dog. Well, in this case, it was a bulldog, not a blue heeler. He was just a regular dog. I don't know, show I watched Paper Cover of Hopes and Dreams. Should have to go through my whole big darn list of them. DM Decoro, of course, that's a good one. This one's pretty good. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with a cover of Hopes and Dreams. What the? My thing died. Why did you die? Why did you do that? Photoshop? You big loser? Fine. Start this up again. What is the deal? What a loser! Okay, we'll try and open that again. Hello, where'd you go? I better have saved recently. Let's see how that goes. A little pretty simmer there for the backdrop for you. Well, that's not what I wanted. Alright, where did I last leave off? 3. Oh, not too bad. Good thing I was saving frequently. Yeah, that is how I say simmer. Awesome Man on the Internet? I haven't seen much of it. They did they do a musical version of Undertale at some point? Cymerg? I'm not sure what the correct way is to say it. Yeah, especially lately my stuff's been keeps getting crashing on me. I don't know why. So I'm trying to save frequently. Especially when you're doing like work stuff, just save early, save often. Oh, they did both pacifist genocide lyrics. That makes sense. Oh, no, I'm gonna have to do all this again though. I guess it could be worse. Better than a BSOD too. That's not an invitation, computer. Don't do it. Don't you do it. According to Google, my pronunciation is correct. Yay! Thank you, Google. Validation. There is an autosave feature. I have it on, but sometimes it doesn't seem to kick in. Maybe I should update it, make sure that it's like, you know, operating under a certain level of moves. Like sometimes autosave will go, and sometimes it's like, nah, never mind. Thanks, Adobe. I feel like I was following Man on the internet on their Tumblr for a while, but I don't think they posted in a while. Maybe they abandoned it. I haven't played Mario and Luigi RPG. I heard they're remaking Mario RPG, and I'm kind of like, huh, should I play that? 'Cause I didn't play that when I was younger. Yes, I save at least every half hour. Which is honestly why I think also the stretch breaks are good. Because even if, like, I do a catastrophic loss kind of thing, like, I haven't lost more than half an hour's worth of work. As opposed to, like, hours and hours, which is just devastating. So I'm always saving at least every half hour, if not more often. Alpha Dream bankrupt. Uh-oh. That's no good. Yeah, I wouldn't mind trying a Mario RPG for no other reason than a Yoko Shimomura soundtrack. I think I actually had Beware the Forest Mushrooms as, like, on my playlist. Not even knowing what it was from, just liking the music. That's good stuff, good stuff. Oh, okay, maybe I stopped following them then. I don't know. I'm not sure what they're up to. That's gonna see what I'm doing. Unfortunately, it's hard to do detailed lines at this level. Maybe I should go with my smaller brush. Will that help? Yeah, a little bit. Slightly more detailed brush. Looks like Chris is making a weird face, but they are whistling, which will hopefully be clear once we add all this stuff in. Who's vrooming out there? Yes, I do hate that when that happens. That is definitely another fault of capitalism, though, for sure. Oh yeah, because like making a musical ain't no small feat. Ain't no easy task. I certainly don't know how to write music. I would need somebody else to help me with that. I wish I could. That'd be a cool thing to know. Freckle! Freckle, 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 freckle. Like the cat. Can always start through time. Yeah, that's the issue, is unfortunately, the older you get, the less time you kind of have. Mostly because you're busy taking care of a bunch of other things that you don't necessarily have to worry about when you're younger. Minecraft story mode. She got a big fluffy tail. Right. Oh wait, where's the... Didn't we have a... Maybe it's not over there. I had like a... Nah. It's a metaphor for capitalism. I'm pretty sure I had a Rousey pile over here. He sleeps by being like a little ghosty flame. Okay. And they go. Oh, there goes my AC again. Apparently, I was like, it's cold enough. Oh, wait, now it's too hot. Back I go. Back at it. Poor Chris, they need to get back to the light world just so they can get some pajamas. How do we live in a world without pajamas? Not well. Sheesh, okay, my AC is preparing for liftoff over here. Doing okay? Gotta make it to orbit. Air-conditioned space. Not that space needs it. Whew. I don't know if I'm gonna finish all the lines, but at least I got through most of them. And I can finish the rest later as well. When do you think the comic will release? Well, I'm still gonna have to do color and all that stuff. So, depending on how much I get done, maybe next week. Hopefully. We'll see. I'll have other things in the meanwhile. Some little doodles. Where is the Dark World civilization compared to Light World in terms of progress? Not sure quite what you mean. Like, technologically, neither of them have much in the way of technology. They have, like, weird arcane stuff going on. But, like, there's no computers. No TV. I'll just venture and say no electricity much in general. But kind of a mishmash maybe of other random technologies. Basically a vaguely pre-electricity. And especially with like the Dark World, it's kind of, you know, weird and unknowable, so if it has electricity, nobody knows how it works. And it has like thunder strikes or something like that. Yeah, the Dark World doesn't have much in terms of cultural progress, because culture is like, we're all demons and monsters. Our culture is being scary. They're blowing a raspberry. They're going... Pfft. But yeah, like at least I had them in the light world too, doing stuff by like, probably like lamp oil light, candles. It is vaguely historical, but I definitely don't want to like pin down a specific time. Why do they call it a raspberry? I'm not sure why they call it a raspberry. That's just always what I heard it as. It's just a raspberry. Maybe because you're kind of making a like PB noise. I don't know. Okay. That's what they're doing. Alright, we'll see how far we can get on last page. So that's probably a reason you can, something you can look up where it'll explain why they call it a raspberry. Also, this is not visible right now, but the reason why they're hiding out in this cave, just kind of hanging out, it's acid raining outside, something that Queen is causing. So I'll have to indicate later. Oh no, acid rain! So, can't go outside in that, even if you're an Eldritch Beast. That would hurt. It's Cockney slang raspberry tart for fart. Huh. Okay. So it's like making a fart noise with your mouth. But they call it a raspberry. Huh. Interesting. I didn't know that. And now I do. Very cool. I guess blowing a raspberry does sound better than, I don't know, making a fart noise with your mouth. Language is funky. But it made Noelle laugh. I still have to make her do the fa ha ha because that is a great way for her to laugh. Do I have a spider sauna? I do not. I have not created a spider sauna for myself. Maybe I should. I'm not sure what my spider sauna would be. Spider Lynx. I love that apparently in Spider-Ham's universe and Peter Porker's universe, Miles exists, and he's a cat named Miles or Meows Morales. So he's just like a cat with, like, you know, Miles's outfit. Meows Morales. Spider-Lynx. 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 Does whatever a Spider-Lynx does. Does they swing from a web? No, they can't. They're a lynx. Oh, that's so cute. Spider-Gwen. Penguin. Oh, why is that so cute? You have to slide around. There's probably a Spider-Man medieval one. Been bitten by a magic spider. Yeah, you can send me a pic later. I'm just amused we were able to find the universe number for Spidey and Friends, even if it's not an official number. Oh, I think the fa ha ha is a reference to, like, fa la 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 la, like the Christmas Carol. I think it's just making a pun off of her being Christmassy. Oh, funny. Yeah, I don't know if it's a Mother 3 reference. I figured it was just a Christmas reference because fa la la la. At least that was certainly my first impression. La 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 la. Oh, shoot, is it my time already to stop? I still want to go. I'll go a little longer. Just a little longer, though. I do need to stop and take care of Alfie's and eat my lunch. All that goodness. Yeah, I feel like Noelle's laugh is a Christmas reference. Yeah, they have like the... I think they have a couple of little robot spider helpers. It's like Tracy and stuff like that. That makes sense. There's actually a lot of stuff in there that is canon to the comics, I think. Or at least references it. This makes it for little kids. There's so much stuff in the comics, it's hard to find something that's not canon to it, honestly. Aww. Little helper guy. I'm not sure what the, I'm actually not sure what the canon reason is why, like, Gwen and, Miles are in the universe with Peter Parker Spidey, but I don't think it matters so much as we all want to have cool spider powers and be friends. Yeah, that's why I was kind of looking for them in Spider-Verse, but I don't think they're there because, again, like, they're preschoolers. They're not preschoolers, you know, little kids. But they're for preschoolers. They're not traumatized. They're just having fun with spider powers. So it kind of breaks the idea of, oh, if you're a spider person, you gotta be, you know, have this canon traumatic canon event. And it's like, not really. Depending on your audience. Sometimes you just have cool spider powers and fight bad guys and go get ice cream afterwards, and that's the extent of it. Yeah, they play with Mayday in the corner. They have a good time. Mayday was super cute. What would the canon events be for the Eldritchrune main cast? I feel like the canon event is like Dessa's disappearance. I feel like that's kind of a driving force behind a lot of what's going on with, at least with Chris and Noelle. Probably something different for Susie. Oh, thump, 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 thump. She thump her tail. Maybe I'll stop after I finish this one. This family problems. The canon event is is the Dreamers getting divorced. In every universe. It's always the divorce. Oh no. Family problems. I'm sorry, Chris, your parents have to get divorced. Canon says so. Throughout the multiverse, there are constant share between them. The constants are Dreamers divorce. Chris eats the moss. Well, at least in this AU, they actually are together. Or they actually are not divorced. And the ironic thing is their family is worse off for it. Should have just gotten the divorce instead of doing the cult stuff. She wagging. She wagging the tail. Thump it a thump it a thump. The Dreamers divorce.tm. Ask for most divorced dad. What about me, your ex-husband? Asgore, no. Oh yeah, for sure. Divorce would be preferable to sacrificing your child. Which is why I'm like, okay, they're together in this universe and literally worse off for it. I think Chris would prefer that too. It's all downhill from there. I can't help feeling like Chris thinks that they're responsible for that in some way in this universe. Poor Chris. We'll see how things go. They throw cow blood on you. No cow blood in this version. I think they throw flour and sugar though. Demon likes them a sweet treat, not a cow blood. That one. Sacrificial simulator? I don't know about that. Poor Chris. They have it so rough. They need a hug and many a friend. And hugs from a friend. I was being lowered into lava sound. Now there is that. That was a really funny part of that movie. Ritualistically sacrificed. Wait, what? Alright, we're gonna finish up this panel real quick, and then, we have to call it a day. Because I do have to go take care of lunch stuff. I definitely have to get to take care of the cat at a certain time. So I want to make sure I get everything done I need to by then. Sorry I didn't get to finish all of these pages, but I'll do most of them. Yeah, penguins erect. I love that little star too. Ritually sacrificed. Yay! Sounds very hot, indeed. But yeah, whenever I finish this comic, I'll put out a poll for the next one that can be for this AU, and one of them will be the actual sacrifice part with Chris and the Dreamers. At least I already have a script written for it. I had that time when I was a power outage. I'm like, I can't do anything. I guess I'll just write this. Well, that'll be an option. You can vote for it on the poll. I'll have some other options on there too. I think most of her's hiding behind the thing. Susie, tail thumping. Let's see if I can do this properly. What would the other options be? Other options are encounter with the Addisons, maybe following Azrael's investigation back in the light world, as he's probably, going through a forbidden section of the library. It's another option. And then there's some other ones that I want to do, but I don't really have ideas for yet. Like, I'd like to do, like somebody asked to explain, how Susie and Noelle got together. And I need to work out how that would look, or what kind of scene would play out from that. Meeting Lancer is a possibility. You could do something with like Noelle, Queen, and Birdley if I think of it. So 3 possibilities I can definitely work with, and other ones that I would like to do, but I'm not sure what I would do for them yet. Yeah, I was trying to think of that last time. Like, what would I do for the Suzelle one? But I'd have to think on it more. Okay, unfortunately I gotta stop now because I gotta, again, take like 2 panels away from finishing too. But I've gotta stretch and take care of Alfie's and eat a lunch and other things, and then I gotta get ready to go look after the kitty. And we'll take care of the kitty and then do a bunch of cooking, I guess. Well, no, because if Noelle got eaten in this universe, then Rousey couldn't revive her. He can only revive Chris. So that would be a little sad.
Even if she was okay with it, I would like her to stick around in this case. Like, at least Chris can be revived, but Ross, I can't do that with the monsters. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming to the stream. I super appreciate it. I'm not sure when the next one will be, aside from definitely Earthbound on Friday. As far as I know, that should all go well. I don't know when I'll do another art stream. Again, depends on my schedule, how busy I am with a new contract and all that stuff. But hopefully I'll do another one soon, which will probably be more progress on this if I do, or something else. I guess we'll see. Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. It was nice to do a little early morning one. Just jump right into it at the start of the day. So, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all really soon. Right, see you later.